Welcome Spuds to a new series in a game called Astroneer, where the goal is to go to different planets, make massive bases, and automate my way to, I guess, unlocking the secrets of these worlds. I'm not too sure. I've only played like the basics of the game, so I know a little bit, but I want to be able to start to unlock the further down that we can get to, because there's actually cores in the planets we go to. So there's so much we're on right now, and there's like 7, I think, other planets right now. So it's a lot. So in the series, I want to go over just the basics of what I know, and then I want to learn from there. So starting off, we're going to collect the rewards from Planetfall, which means we now get 2 things. We get a small printer and an oxygenator, which this we put into our brand new spaceship. We go ahead and unlock this, and this will make an oxygenator. You can see that I got a blue line tethered from me to the oxygenator, and that is telling me that I am currently picking up oxygen from the shelter. If I go too far away, you'll see the blue bar in my backpack start going down, but if I go back to it, I will then start to replenish it. So super helpful. I'm going to pull out my terrain gun and start mining up these resources here. The plants that are here is for organic, and then the gray stuff here is for compound. And both are essential for our current plans for making a massive base here. But I need to get one more material before I can do anything too crazy. But the first thing I want to start making are tethers. Tethers are a tool that is going to be useful for me to transfer the oxygen from the base to wherever I want to. So if I were to press T, I will start placing tethers as I go, and these tethers can be placed anywhere as long as there is oxygen to be had. So by adding more tethers, I am then making a bigger line from my base to wherever it is I need to be going to, which is very helpful for exploring in the surface, but also in the caves. But today we're focusing on the surface, and it looks like here I found what I was looking for. This is called macaroni. No, I'm just kidding. It's called resin. And this is very essential for making parts of the base, as the platforms require a lot of this stuff. So I'm going to get a lot of this and then hit back to the base. Ooh, a packager. That's really cool, actually. Super helpful for the future if I can find a couple of useful materials. But I have a backpack full of resin, so now we're going to head back to the ship. First things first, we need to set up our printer, which, as you can see, it has these little red and yellow cables here. I have to connect this to power, which this has power. It produces 1 unit of power per second, while this only draws 1 unit per power per second. So as long as it's connected, this will run at full efficiency because it draws the exact same amount of power that it takes in. So first things first, we're going to make ourselves a medium platform A. This is our first set of platforms we're making, so that it allows me to have a 2x1 space for future automation. And then now that we have that out of the way, we're going to go ahead and grab 3 compound, because with compound we can then come over here and make a medium printer, which is conveniently built right on my platform here. And now if we go ahead and unlock this will make it so I can actually make bigger things rather than just a small printer. So you'll see that the small printer has all kinds of things I can make here, right? But they're all kind of pretty small. But with this, I can make bigger things like a large printer, a research chamber, large platform A's, all really cool stuff. And I have some rewards here already for getting the oxygenator unpacked, installing it, and then connecting it to a printer. Now I can get extra tethers and bytes. I can also get a small canister of some bytes, really useful. The canister is actually really useful for capturing soil and then using it for future references. I want to now fill the canister up with soil. So easy as pie, because it's right here. Now I'm going to go over here, start mining up for some more compound, and this white bar will start filling up with blue, because that means that it is not capturing soil. Now I'm going to need a lot of soil for whatever I'm doing for the projects, because it's going to require a lot of resources. And for the item that we're going to be crafting pretty soon, requires us to go into the caves a little bit. So that's pretty cool. I have this done, so now I can go ahead and claim my extra 500 bytes. Super helpful. And medium storage here is really good, and extra platforms and then the schematic for an oxygenator is actually pretty good. I'm looking for one thing in particular, and that's going to be the large platform B. But until then, I'll go ahead and keep doing more of these quests and see how far I can get. I need to get a little more resin, and I can go ahead and work through that. So the basics right now is just to keep getting resources, because I need a whole lot for this to work out. And it's not too difficult. It's actually a lot of fun. But keep in mind of your oxygen. That's actually the one thing that should be on your mind at all times. They recently released a DLC for this game called Glitch Walkers, which is a massive expansion that I want to dabble in. But before I do that, since this is a brand new series on this channel, I actually want to make a series just so we can get that started, because it's a lot of fun. It looks like. I've never tried it yet, and it looks like a lot of fun, but I want to be able to get a series out so that way it's not just, oh, hey, I got DLC, and then not know how to play the game in the first place. So that's the goal, is to be able to start unlocking the course and plans, start learning how to do the DLC, that whole thing, because there's a lot to learn. Okay, should be everything? Excellent. Now, I do want to explore a little bit outwards and see if I can find any resources. You'll see these like rocks that are hanging out. Those for research in the future, which is very useful. But for now, my goal is to look for structures, if possible. Something over here. Right now, this is the blue forest, which is useful for some resources like ammonium, but not very good for, say, copper or zinc or anything like that. So different biomes have different resources, different geography locations. For example, like inside the cave has different resources than you can find on the top of the surface. So you have to kind of explore and learn. But thankfully, the game gives you a pre-built little tab here, so you can go to the ship up here. You can see plants, resources, and hazards. So it lets you know exactly what is on each planet and where it's found. So if you're ever trying to like look for a new resource or try to figure out what's around you, that is a great tool for you. So it looks like here I have what I need. So now I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. And then the storage was actually really cool because I can use this to store my materials. So now I can carry things in this rather than on the floor like a weird peasant that I am. Excellent here. So now I have access to the large platform B and the schematic. Now I could research this myself by going to the third tab here and then scroll down here until I see platforms here. But it does cost me some money. In this case, bytes is the currency for this world. So I'm going to save myself a ton of bytes, plus get one in the process, which gives you a massive box right here, which you can see is much bigger than the platform A by about 4 times. So I definitely want to use this. And this will be our main platform that we'll be using for the next 3 episodes or so until we go to other planets and get some iron, which you can't find on this planet. So we're going to see how that's going to go. Okay, so now we have that done. Now our next plan is what? Do we have any more quests we can do? We can do active quests. Those are special ones. Those are kind of hard. Print a small generator. Okay, those are easy to get. If you go ahead and get 1 compound and then 1 organic, you can then pull up your backpack and look for small generator. And this will also give you a power source that you can connect. And this will add a little extra power to your base. Now, it's not needed right now, so I'll keep it turned off unless you need it. It gives you an extra 2 units of power per second. It's pretty good. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and claim this. We get batteries and the schematic for a battery. Awesome. Alright, we can get some beacons, print, and use in a research chamber, which is really helpful, actually, because first, I'm going to actually need to go ahead and make it. This is actually already pre-researched for you, so no need to spend any money for it. So 2 compound and 1 resin. Now, this will take a lot more time because this draws 2 units of power per second, while this only produces 1. However, if I turn on the generator, it goes a lot faster because now this is going to be adding to the 1 power here, totaling up to 3. So, which means that it is now drawing less power than it needs to. So, we are going to be able to work this at full efficiency. Now, it does get a little harder as you have more machines working. There are some machines that use 20 units of power, which require a lot of machines for it. But for the most part, these generators here will get you through most of the early game out pretty well. And then once we get to the furnace area, then we can go ahead and make ourselves an actual generator. And what that does is that's going to give us a lot more power. But first, going to wait for this to spawn in. And then, so now we have this chamber here created. So now we can go and put this research item inside of it. Which, if I examine it, go ahead and give it power. Now I can go ahead and get a max of 450 bytes from this. Keep in mind, this does use constant power, and with this now running with nothing, it now goes down to about half the bytes per minute. So this does draw power consistently as long as you have power. So keep that in mind, but I would always try to have one of these around at all times because they do give you a good amount of power, and it's just pretty useful because you can go organic anywhere on this planet. From the blue forest, or you can go just from like the shrubbery around here super easily. Now the bytes are very helpful because you can use that to buy schematics for like really powerful stuff. For example, you can use your bytes to, in this case, make really soon actually a rocket ship, which costs a lot of bytes. But I have this for a lot later, so we're gonna hold off on these for a while. I think we're gonna be using our ships, I believe, next episode. So I don't want to get into it too much right now. Okay, what else do we got here? So we got to gain just some bytes, actually a lot of bytes. Now printing a smelting furnace and then refining aluminum from laterite. So now this will be the last thing that we're gonna do today, and because what we're doing for that is examining. Now the next thing we're doing now is I'm gonna actually grab another one of these, and I'm gonna make another of the small canisters because if I can go to my thing correctly. Next, we're gonna go ahead and locate ourselves the small canister, and then we're going to go underground because we need to get laterite. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a little rail right here, and by pressing C or V, I can change the mode of how my terrain tool works. So this is the normal tool, which digs down because the arrow is pointing towards the ground. You have pointing away, which means it's going to start adding soil to where you're at to make a bit of a platform. And then you're going to have your polishing tool. So what this is going to do, which we're going to use right now, is it's going to allow me to dig into the ground, give me a little bit of headway, but it's a very straight path. Super helpful. Now, I will warn you, the steeper the path, the harder it can be to climb back up, so keep that in mind. But for the most part, the bigger the better. And what we're looking for right now is going to be the underground system, which will come out as right here as a brownish, reddish kind of terrain. Because this is going to be leading us straight into the caves if I can find us an opening. Now I think right here, yes, right here is a cave. Oh wow, it looks like a deep one actually. Okay, let's keep heading down. Now very careful that you don't go too far down too fast, because there is fall damage in the game. It will absolutely kill you. But I think we are almost to the bottom of the cave. I don't think I've ever dug this far down to get to the first layer of the caves ever. But here we are now. We got an actual layer. We got actual cave here. I hope I have enough sort of get down there. Oh yeah, I definitely will. But these are the caves. It's really cool, and each cave is different on each planet. And of course, each different cave you get different resources from as well. I'll make sure we're all the way down there. Okay, now we're good. First, let's go ahead and make sure that we have our titles again, because that is the most important thing, is you always have oxygen. If you don't have oxygen, obviously you're going to die, and that's not exactly good. In my opinion, I would always bring about 3 packs of tethers every time you go down into new caves, because you never know if you're going to find more compound down there. And honestly, it's better to have it than not have it at all. Now, what we're looking for is actually right back there. That's laterite, aka pre-aluminum. And you're going to see these purple and red plants here. Now, they're harmless. You can get close to them. It's fine. These are harmless. There are another version of these plants that do spawn on other planets that will absolutely kill you if you get too close. But they won't hurt you as long as you get far enough away from them, and you can blow them up just like so. That will get rid of it, but careful that you don't stay in the range of it too long, because that will absolutely kill you. And then the other thing here is you're going to find some researchable items here, like research samples. You can then scan these and then get yourselves extra points of bytes here for you, real cheap, and they'll also grow back over time as well. So we're going to head over here as I promised, because this is where we're going to find our laterite. In fact, this is our third thing that I want to show you guys, and possibly fourth over there if it's actually good or not. So first, let's go ahead and get ourselves some of this laterite. I would say get about 5 or so. Gives you a good amount for the start. Should be enough. Okay. And then, so there's also this thing right here. It's the Exodynamics Research Aid. And as you can see, it has an image on top of here. So it looks like the image here looks just like the laterite symbol here. And then once again, if you're ever confused, go to the spaceship, go to resources, and it shows exactly what things look like. So what I'm looking for, I believe, is laterite right here. So we're going to mine it out just a little bit so we can see what we're doing. We're going to put some laterite in this, start sucking it up, and now we have this bad boy right here. And this right here is a research sample. Now what I'm going to do is actually hold on to this because that's actually useful to put in the research chamber, as it is still considered like a mineral I can use to put in there. And it gives me a lot more than if I were to just normally scan it. The other resource here I wanted to grab is going to be this thing right here. This is, wait, is that destroyed? Ah, destroyed. Dang it, that sucks. This is called spherolite, aka zinc. We just want to get, let's just a little bit of that. Nothing too big, but that will allow me to craft a really cool working mod that I can use on my tool here. But we have resources. Go ahead and back to the surface, and then let's see what we can do with this stuff. All right, now that I'm back up here, I need to actually research the smelter, which is just 250, really cheap. 2 resin, 1 compound. Okay, 2 resin and then 1 compound. Put that right there. Okay, so that'll be a little while. So I should go ahead and add a little more fuel. I only have 1 more. Okay. But with the furnace, it will allow me to get everything that is unrefined to be refined. I also made another storage, so that way I can go ahead and store all my goodies in here, and the furnace will actually pull from the storage here. Okay, this here is finally done. I made the wrong thing. Okay. You go over there. I wanted to make the furnace. Oops. Okay, let's go ahead and go for take 2. This game is so satisfying just to do that, get a lot organic for all my hard work that I'm barely doing. Is so satisfying. Okay, and now this is almost done. So I'm gonna go ahead and unpack it. And then by putting this right next door, it'll go ahead and pick up straight from the storage, as well as after it's done refining, it'll go ahead and get put back here. Now it looks like here this draws 5 units of power, which is a lot more than this. So we're gonna actually go ahead and make another generator, and now with this here we're gonna have a total of 5 power. So we're gonna have 1 from the base and then 2 of the generators here, giving 2 each. That gives you the maximum power that you're gonna have. And then the laterite here is being turned into the aluminum, which, as mentioned earlier, will be useful for a lot of different things. First things first, we're gonna go down here to the very bottom to the small shuttle. This is what we're gonna need to go to the other bases, but this requires a little bit extra work. Before I end the episode here, I want to make one last thing, and that's going to be the soil centrifuge, because that's going to be a good way of getting a new material called ammonium. And if you can't find that in the blue forest, which it usually spawns in, I can show you guys exactly how to make it here. So I'm going to go ahead and let this finish up, and then I'll go ahead and make the centrifuge. Because this is done now, we're going to go ahead and craft ourselves the centrifuge once again. Takes all the time. What I will do in the meantime, though, is grab, I would say, 2 resin. We're going to go to our backpack, and we're going to turn the resin into oxygen filters. This will give you 80 seconds of pure free oxygen that you can run around with. So now I'm going to adventure out a little bit into the blue forest. What I'm looking for is the material that is going to be popping up somewhere around here, and it can be oftentimes tricky to find. And if you can't find what you're looking for, then that is what the centrifuge is for, because you can use soil to craft new materials. If you're exploring a little bit, it looks like there is a solar generator here, actually inside of here, because you can find. Can I put that up? I may have to dig around here actually. So you'll find these platforms here occasionally, and these are going to have useful items. Can you be picked up? Thank you. And in this case, I have a solar generator, which produces, actually, 1 unit of power per second. Now, I'm still not seeing what I'm looking for, which is concerning, because I usually find a lot of what I'm looking for. But not in this case. Oh, wait, right here, actually. This right here is called ammonium. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, organic. Okay, look a little down. There we go. Ammonium. So ammonium is used as fuel, not fuel for like your base, but fuel for your rocket ship. And if you combine that with a piece of aluminum, you can then make a fuel thruster. My game keeps glitching out doing that weird thing. I don't know why. This is just a reminder of my public shame. That sucks. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go to our 2 input tab right here. Go to the very, very bottom. And what we're looking for is more bytes. Okay, so we're going to do that, and we're going to put this in here for a little bit. Not the aluminum. What are you doing? That's the wrong thing. Put that there. Go ahead and work on this. And then go ahead and keep 4 more bytes. I need to also go ahead and grab a couple more of my compound to make a bigger printer, because in order to make a shuttle of any kind, you need to have a large printer, which requires a lot of resources for it. But I'm going to go ahead and try to put in the solar here, so that way everything works now just a little bit more effectively without having the need of other generators. Grab 3 of these. I'm going to go ahead and, just for the time being, get rid of this, so that way this has all the power usage. Where's it at? There we go, large printer. And keep in mind that it's going to be a little messy. As is right now, like, this was my attempt at being a little bit clean with how I put my stuff. But it can be a little disorganized. So you're going to want to keep in mind that in the early game, it's going to be a little bit hard to organize everything, because it's going to require a lot of storage and a lot of space, which we don't exactly have at the moment, because I don't really have a lot of resin to make a lot of the storages. So kind of get used to it. If you got OCD, you're going to hate it for a little bit, but there's actually a lot of ways to organize your base and have a lot of cool things to upgrade it with. Like, you can get bigger platforms, which will actually be in the next episode, where we're going to fly to a new planet called Glacio and then get iron there. Or we can go to, I think, to Solo and get supplies where you can get, like, we can get gases. It's all super cool. But in this case, for the end of this episode, all we're focusing on at this point is getting ourselves, I believe it's 2 of our aluminum here. And then now we can go ahead and cut ourselves a small shuttle. We'll do that. I still need to think, yeah, you need 1 of these. Oops, that was the wrong thing. That there. Grab the aluminum. We already have the ammonium. And now come over here and make the solid fuel thruster. And then with these 2 combined, we'll go ahead and be able to launch off. But this will be for the next episode. This is just the basics of kind of how to get from the beginning to the beginning of the end, which is going to be a whole lot, because there's a lot of different plants, a whole lot of resources, gases, everything you can get. But this is kind of just a short guide of how you can do an average playthrough. And there's no mods, everything here is pure vanilla, but this will be a good way to start off our adventure into the new DLC for Glitch Walkers, which looks really cool, but I want to be able to get a little guide going early on, a little gameplay, so that way we can kind of get a good idea of what's going to happen in the future, because it's a lot that can happen, and I had no idea what to expect, but I want to make sure that I have a decent base already made. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode, and I will have everything ready to go for our space adventures in Astroneer. That was really dumb. Sorry, guys.